Okay everyone, hello and welcome to the very first type of video that I will be doing on this subject. Today we will be looking at rocket industries and what we've done in quarter 2 and 3 of 2023. We're not going to go ahead and look into quarter 1 because nothing really happened during that time. So if you'll just bear with me for a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and pull up all of my points here and we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, so I'm looking at the stream now for you guys. I can see that it looks a little bit funky, but not an issue. It's not designed to be anything special. So I have everything here. I think we're just going to go ahead and start, skip to pleasantries. So I think that quarter 2 and 3 was one of our biggest time frames yet in the history of rocket industry so far. In that time, we single-handedly pushed out an entire revamp for the game in just under 2 months, I think it was. We completely restructured the group and the Discord server in its function and the ways that it functions. We have hosted many community interactive events within the community to promote and boost engagement in the community. And we are continuing to work hard. We also had a stall in Transport Tech 2023, which is a big event, seeing as the last time we were featured in a Transport Tech, it was 2021. And we were still using the train that had been built by iBad William, which is just under 2 years old, I think, at this date. So I think let's go ahead and start at the very beginning, which was, I think it was May 5th, 2023. No, sorry, it was May 22nd, 2023. At 5:07 p.m. in my time, CDT, it was announced on the 24th of May that the new train would be in development. It was on this time in this channel that I posted the first 2 pictures of the brand new engine and car. We can see right now that these pictures, if I'm able to pull these up, we can see right here that, okay, it's going to take a little bit, but when I pull these up, we will be able to see the quality of the new engine, and we will be able to see how it looked before it was completed, or technically even started, because this was a very bare engine. I really hadn't started anything on this yet. So if it will let me pull it up just right now real quick. Here we go. You can see right here, if I just put it right here, we are able to see right now that the engine was very incomplete at this time. It wasn't very finished. I actually went back and I redesigned it more than 2 times since this photo was taken. However, in that time, it allowed me to think about how I wanted to structure it and how I wanted to do the entire train, which definitely was a bit of a struggle, seeing as I haven't done anything of this size before, especially with rocket industries and our train. We all know how the train looked beforehand. You know, not very good. We've been using the same train since 2021, really. I think it's I don't think it's changed much over the years. It's mostly been the exact same. But we have a good friend logging on in just a second. We're gonna say hi to Powering. But anyways, so as I was saying, the train hadn't changed much from its original design, and in building an entirely new one, it allowed me to focus on the aspects that I hadn't focused on previously, and allowed me to sort of create the world around the train while still maintaining that sort of rocket industries feel. we can just go ahead and head back here for a second. I'll go ahead and pull up the old engine so we can go ahead and see that, but I'll pull this up in a second. I don't know if you guys are even seeing these, but if I just pull these up in a second, we will go ahead and be able to see what the train looked like in comparison to the newer engine. I'm just going to head and take a screenshot, and we'll just pull it up here real quickly. Not too important, but I feel like it does give a good contrast between what we started with and what we've done in the 2 or so years that I've been working on this project. I'll just go ahead and put them side by side here real quickly, and you can definitely see the change and the improvement in the overall design and the execution of it. As you can see, compared to the old engine, we have a more accurate wheelbase structure and we have a higher side profile, which definitely is a plus for the overall one-to-one accuracy of the train. However, it is a bit more of a struggle for the interiors, as the engine's interior is a bit messy and inaccurate due to the new height found in the new model. It's not exactly the most accurate thing in the world, but it definitely is a lot better than what we were working with, because if I go ahead and measure right now, I'm going to go ahead and just take it out real quick and measure it. The old engine was just about 26 studs across, which was room for just about, I think it was just close enough to fit three dummies in there inside the engine. It was an extremely tight fit, especially with how I managed the interior space for that engine. And we can just go ahead and we can already see I can already see right now that the newer engine is definitely a lot bigger on the outside. It is not 26 studs. In fact, yeah, it's coming out to just about 30. Yeah. So it's a little bit bigger, not exactly entirely accurate, but it definitely allowed for a more spacious and a more complete interior design opposed to the old train. Another thing I want to go over is more so Q4 of 2022. However, I do still want to go over this, was the creation of Big Alice, which was so generously developed and made by our very own, let's see, it was, if I just scroll up here real quickly, here we go. It was our very own Jack Pumpkin, who has been with Rocket Industries since the very beginning, actually. I don't think they are a new member, but they were so generous as to, in Q1 actually of 2022, to start developing an engine for Rocket Industries, which was Big Alice. This engine can be seen in the game development channel of the Discord, which you can join through our profile or through any of the links you can find on any of our videos. But it was a very high quality model that was produced in Blender rather than Studio, which is what most of Rocket Industries' projects are produced through. Much like the Snowpiercer cars that Kieran also generously made and gifted to us back in May of 2022. Ironically, only a day before I started the new train this year. Just around, I think it's July of last year is when I had the first import of Big Alice 2 Studio. So far, we are still fine-tuning the model. We haven't quite gotten it where we want it to be. However, that does bring up another point with Big Alice, is the cars that were just recently developed. I took up Blender a little while ago, and I managed to produce some cars, or a car for now, for Big Alice. It has been teased multiple times. I don't think it's anything new at this point, but it is scaled almost correctly, and it is very large, a lot larger than Snowpiercer itself, and we are working on getting it ready for the actual game. So far, the only things I'd say left for Big Alice is obviously to develop some more preset cars, but we do need to get bogies on there. Interiors need to be set and redone. We also need to add a little bit more functionality to her, seeing as she is very basic at the current moment. But other than that, I just want to take up that point and bring up Big Alice and its creation and generously thank Jack for their work on it, especially seeing as it's taken so long to actually release out into the public. So now I want to go ahead and shift our focus from kind of everything else onto... I want to take our focus from more of the building development side down to the scripting and functionality wise. I'm very happy to say that this year we did hire a brand new scripter for the game, which is, I don't know if you guys would know, but it is Fabekahun, or A Great Baggy. They're a very hard worker and have done a lot of work for Rocket Industries across the 2-month time span that we had for the game. They single-handedly redeveloped our terrain system. They created the new spawn and RFID system. They have also helped create the lighting and most of the sound sequences found throughout the train. And I just couldn't thank them enough for the work they've done. I have no clue if they will see this, but I just want to go ahead and go out there and put it out there that they have done all this amazing work in the coding and behind the scenes work for Rocket Industries. I also want to go ahead and take another moment to partially thank Real Kieran for his work, his slight work with the game, as he did create the base car that we used for the new update, and he also helped with some of the general design and blueprinting of Snowpiercer so that we could get it a little bit more accurate this time and make it a little bit more enjoyable to play with. He very graciously helped us with the design process and was very generous to lend us a hand in our work. Another thing I want to go over is more back to the building side, but it was one of the first cars teased for the new train, which was the aquarium. A lot of people had a play in the design of the aquarium. I consulted multiple people on the aesthetic and how it should be kind of worked around from outside of the series to more of our own style, and we've ended with a result that we think we're happy with, which is the sushi bar at the front of the car with the tunnel going through the actual aquarium instead of the more truthful design, which is sort of 2 rooms on either side with the tunnel in the middle. Another thing I think we should go over is probably actually some more cars that were added into the game, which I think some of the more notable ones would be first class dining, the second class cabins, and the third class areas. I do also want to state that I would like to thank someone else again for their help with actually designing the second class bases and partial parts of third class. And that is Patrick, who runs his own Snowpiercer group, which is Fantasy Industries. I would definitely recommend joining because they structured it very well and they've put a lot of time and effort into their version of the game. However, Patrick, the lead founder of the group, has done a lot of work for us, completely free of charge, which is very generous of him, and I appreciate it so much. He structured our second-class rooms, he designed the interiors, he chose the colors, the texturing, and everything, and I couldn't be happier with how it came out. I think it is a lot better in contrast to the other cars, and if I'm speaking honestly, it might have just made second class my favorite class out of all of them. Another person I'd like to take a second to recognize is also Powering Idiocracy. Many of you may know him from the Roblox Snowpiercer community, but he was very generous to lend me his old Snowpiercer models to take and pick apart to design some of the harder cars for our train, which, for example, the night car, which is very different to his, is Powering had a very shorter train, but he was generous enough to lend me one of his older models, which had a partially complete night car, which allowed me to pick it apart and kind of see how it was structured around the train car. That sort of wraps up our in review. I don't think there is a lot more to talk about. We've gone over most of the general development and scripting side of things, so I think it's safe to say we can move on to the plans for the future of Rocket Industries. As many of you are aware, we do plan to release a row scale game later in the next year or two, maybe. I'd say quarter 3 or 4 of 2024, seeing as we still need to get the whole train put together. However, we are also planning for a lot of new additions to the train. A lot of you may have just seen that we recently hosted a giveaway for a car of your choice to be added to the train. Patrick again won, and he chose to do a museum in first class. We are currently in the stages of talking over this and seeing how it will play into the train and how it will play into the general structure and how we can maybe open it up to more than just first class. We definitely have plans for a lot more in the scripting aspect for the train. One thing I do want to completely redesign is the terrain system for the train. I have recently figured out terrain modeling, and so that is going to help us a lot with the design and development of terrain and how we're going to get it moving. I am in the talks with our scripter about doing this and how we can get it done, but it's still in the planning phase, as we don't think it necessary to completely redo it just yet. It works for now is what I'm trying to say. Another thing I want to add is more dynamic sounds for the train. A lot of you may have seen this with Real Charon's train, but I want to add a sort of basis around around the train and its sound design systems, and I want to see how that could play out. I definitely want to test it out with a few things. I might start with more accurate track sounds. As we all know, I've been using the same sound for almost 3 years now, so I think it's safe to say I need to get something new on that. But another thing I want to get done is just pulling up the roadmap here. Sorry if I seem off track. But I want to... Here we go. Oh, geez. Look at that. Sign-ins, am I right? Okay, sorry about that. Another thing I want to do is improve all of the lag issues that we've been having around the train. This year we did introduce the first of a deloader, which is localized around the player, and within a certain radius, everything will appear. However, outside of that radius, parts will begin to despawn to save on memory and usage, which has greatly helped a lot of players navigate the train, especially with how big it is. I think right now the train is running just upwards of 122,000 parts. Nope, sorry, 111,800 exactly. But besides that, it has definitely helped a lot of players with their lagging issues, but I think there is a lot more that we can do for them to help push it forwards. Another thing we are working on is weaponry and job systems. A lot of you may have seen that our scripter has been working on the job ranking system and how that's all going to play out. Currently, what we have so far are a few jobs for third, which is going to include janitorial, agsec, and also the brakeman and jackboot division, seeing as those are all structured into third. The plan, hopefully, for it to be is to be added on to the original spawn menu, except for when you join the game, you are going to see the spawn menu, but when you select your class, what's going to happen is you aren't just going to get your class, you will have the option to select a job as well. It'll be a drop-down menu, hopefully. but it will all be structured with the different jobs. I'm thinking what we'll do is we may even have a tail structure rank, which will allow tailies to sort of pick and choose their hierarchy. We are currently working with Axis of the Tailie Revolution group in the Eternal Engine, hopefully getting a partnership up and running there to form another sort of Tailie group for Rocket Industries. However, it's not certain, but we're looking forward to that. We hope to hear more from him. If he's watching now, please reach out to us. We are waiting, but we're hoping to get that job structured. So what it will be is you'll have regular unticketed passengers, you'll have tailies, Tailie revolutionaries, informants, go up to third. Like I said, you have AgSec, brakemen, security, all that. Heading up to second class, I think, is where we'll put most of the medical sections and the working areas, but more of the entertainment jobs like night car, psychiatrist, because we saw that they were on there. I don't want to go ahead and replicate every job there ever was on the world, but I think some of the necessary ones would obviously be, again, plumbing, janitorial, entertainment staff. I think we can have maybe a separate committee in second class, structured around the same as first class committee. Once you get into first class, I don't think there will be many jobs there. I think that's where we'll just put hospitality, committee. I don't think there's anything else that would be necessary to structure under those ranks, seeing as it's mostly just rich people chilling in the end of the world. But after that, it'll be staff ranks, moderator, admin, engineers, developers, all of that. Nothing special, nothing you guys need to worry about. Another thing we are trying to get implemented is more realistic lighting. We've gone through multiple different lighting options for the game, and what we've settled on right now is okay in my opinion. I don't think it's the closest thing it can be, but I do think that it fits the general mood of Snowpiercer and the frozen world. Another thing we'd like to do, again, I want to go back to the terrain system, is we'd like to sort of improve that, but we'd like to add more of a interactability with the outside terrain, because I have plans that I'm going to go over with our scripter soon for breach work, maintenance, repair, plans for speed control, being able to stop the train and all that, a bunch of different moving parts. And on that note, another thing I'd like to add is some more interactability for cabins and most of the cars. Currently, we don't have any doors that are holding cabins, so you can just kind of head into whichever one you want, especially down in second class where cabins are found within, I think it's 4 in every car. Another thing I should add is we are working on getting third class roomettes up and running. That's becoming increasingly difficult with the lack of photos of the set, so I'm trying as hard as I can to get that done and replicated, but that probably won't be coming for another month or two, especially with the hiatus that I am taking from development. Another thing that I personally would like to get done is more functionality for the engine and electricity throughout the train. One idea that I had was a functioning shutdown sequence, which we saw back in Season 2. I definitely would like to have that, just to add a little bit more fun to the game, make it a little bit more of a challenge, just add something we can do. Another thing that I personally would like a lot is for the valve gears on the engine to move, which is not exactly anything important, but it's something that I feel would help improve the overall look of the game, because so far what it is they're just on there. They don't move, which if you've ever seen a train with valve gears, you'd know that they have to move to propel the train. And if they don't move, it just looks wrong. So what I'm thinking is I can go ahead and maybe learn the necessary tools for animation. I think tween is one of them, but we will go ahead and find out, because that is something I would like to do to help improve the overall experience of the game. Another thing that I would really, really like is, again, if you are in the community, please interact with us and make your voice heard. We have tons of opportunities for you to join the teams behind the scenes. We have tons of opportunities for you to join jobs and divisions. We are currently working on getting Head of Brakeman up and running. We are hosting giveaways. We're hosting a lot of fun events, and we'd like to see you in those, having a good time and enjoying yourself, which we get is kind of hard, seeing as we did just migrate our entire system over, but we hope that what we have now is enough to hold you over until we can get more pushed out. With that being said, I do think that is the end of this conference or our review. I would like to thank everyone for watching, live or not, and thank you for your continued support. I know it hasn't been easy, especially with how long I've been taking to get things out. A lot of you may know that I've been working on a little side project of mine, which I will be announcing later on in the Discord server. Again, you can join. Link will be in the comments, or it's on my profile as well. A lot of you may know I've been busy with school and work and all that, but I think that we can have a better game out and running by the end of this year, or hell, even by the end of next year. All in all, though, I want to thank you again for your continued support, because this is a very long process, and all of you who have stuck with us so far are amazing people and have offered your continuous support and love. We just recently breached over 220 members on our Roblox group, which I just want to point out and thank you all for joining and interacting. We have a lot of good engagement coming from here. I also want to thank all of you who are purchasing tickets. That is really helping us fund the development process of the game. I would like to state right now that I haven't announced on the main group, but if you buy a ticket and you are not in the group, you cannot be ranked. We are not able to do that. You need to join the group and request the rank change to be able to receive it. From then on, you need to stay in the group until you're ready to leave, but I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing my voice. I know I'm tired of talking. So, again, thank you. I hope you all have a great day or night wherever you come from, and thank you for watching. This is Crash Wreck of Rocket Industries. I will see you all next time.